all the good stuff. This is ridiculous. I mean, went to prison for 10 years for stealing 46 million.
Not tell me he ate a booger.
Dude, he would have showed a little bit of cleavage. Maybe he'd have done all right. That's where we didn't have Facebook or Grindr.
No. Are there a lot of girls on Grindr?
Hitting each other in the nuts. People wanting to punch me in the face. Why would you bite Santa Claus?
Let's do it. Come on. I'm ready. I'm ready. I want to do it.
Why? I'm not AI. I didn't do it. She'd be fine. She took an Adderall.
If you're going to do it, read the instructions.
Mental illness is not an excuse for behavior.
We need help. I got a shot and some pills. That'll take that. Madhouse Bar Talk, baby. All right, here we are. Me and Tony again. We got him back because a bunch of stuff's going on. Everybody's complaining.
About everything.
About everything. It don't matter what side you're on, you're complaining. That's the very least.
I'm getting more from my side than I get from the other side.
Yeah, I would bet. I would think so. That I feel like we get a lot of complaining from that side.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. The right side, they don't complain about anything.
You know what? My first question now, and it just hit me just now.
Go ahead.
Who do you think they should run for president?
That's a really good question.
There's no good answer, I don't think, is there?
From where I sit, they got a problem.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, is there?
Yeah.
There's not really a good answer.
There isn't. I mean, I can find fault with just about any of them.
Well, that's true with any of us. We're all
for sure.
We're all human.
But I mean, like from their point of view, I mean, the vice president has to have the edge, no?
I've been thinking about that. I think so. Because for one, I love him. I think he's great. I love him.
I can see we're going to argue all kind of shit today.
I think J.D. Vance is amazing.
I thought J.D. Vance was amazing.
I'm very happy with J.D. Vance.
I'm very unhappy with J.D. Vance.
I do. I love him. But I was thinking about it. And and the reason I was thinking about the whole vice presidency thing.
Yeah.
And why Bush was never Reagan. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's leaders and there's second in commands.
Well, truer words were never spoken.
And I think that leaders and second in commands are two different people.
Totally different. And you know, when I was running the Spitzer companies, all the auto dealerships, we used to talk about that all the time. There are some guys who are number twos, and they're fantastic at it. And they think because they're fantastic number twos, they can be a number one.
Right.
And they can't. And usually you have to try them at it to find out. But a lot of times you knew they wouldn't be a good number one. But they thought so.
Right.
If you didn't give them a chance, they quit. And they would go someplace else and then find out they weren't a number one.
Right.
It is night and day difference between a number two and a number one. And so
just personality alone.
That alone.
Yep.
That alone. And, you know, I loved when Hillbilly Elegy came out.
Mm-hmm.
I read the book, and I loved it because I lived in Oxford for 4 years when I was going to Miami University.
Okay.
A fraternity brother of mine was from J.D. Vance's hometown. He was like me. He came from a steel town, Middletown.
Right.
And I come from Lorraine. And he and I got along so good. This guy could fix anything. Now, he's a student at Miami University. I don't remember what his major was, but the dude could fix anything. And we were just really, really, really. I took an economics exam for him once because I was good in economics. He said, I didn't go to a single class. Would you take this test for me? Yeah, I mean, it's a fraternity brother. You know, the dude was a good dude. Anyhow, when JD wrote that book, I could picture my buddy James. James, his name was James too. And I could picture the town. I could picture the whole thing. And I said, this guy gets it. And then I think he went, I don't want to say, he went to the dark side. He sold his soul. Now, he got a lot of money for it, so I guess it wasn't a bad thing. But
I don't feel like he sold his soul.
Don't you?
No, I don't. I feel like he's the same person, in my opinion. I think he's a. That's my opinion. I get where people say it because he was one of the first critics of Trump. For sure. He was right away.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people, after they meet Trump, don't feel the way they do.
Oh, they like him.
Yeah.
I have a client, a Republican guy, business guy, very successful guy. And we got to talking about it one time. It was in the middle of a trial, actually, during a break. We start talking about the president. He knows I'm a D. And he says, honestly, Tony, Trump is a very gracious guy in person. He said to me, you would like him. I know you would like him because you and I get along. And I said,
Bill Maher showed us that too.
And he got all kind of shit for it, right? I said, you're probably right. I probably would like him one-on-one. I don't like the other nonsense that comes with him when he's out in the public talking. I have a hard time dealing with that. And I have a problem with some of his policies, but I don't have and you and I talked about this a little bit the last time. I don't have for example, his tariff policy. I don't have a problem with tariffs. I think we needed to do it because it was being done to us.
Correct.
But God, be consistent. In other words, if you're going to do it, do it. Don't go beyond what you're legally allowed to do. Do what you're legally allowed to do. And of course, the Supreme Court just kind of straightened him out on some of that, but he's still going back to it. And what he should have done, because he could have gotten anything from Congress that he wanted, and he would have gotten bipartisan support for some permanent, congressionally mandated tariffs to protect certain industries that you and I think agree we should have as our basic industries, and we should protect them, even if it means higher costs in the end to the consumer. The jobs that come with it are worth it.
I don't understand. See, maybe I'm a dummy. I am a dummy. I clearly am a dummy.
No, you're not a dummy.
But what I don't understand is why is it that we could afford to build all these houses union in the 50s and 60s? We could afford televisions in the 50s and 60s. We could afford furniture in the 50s and 60s. We could afford all these things that were manufactured here in the United States. Why can we not afford them now? Can somebody explain that to me? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I can't explain it to you. Why we can't? I can explain to you why we don't.
Well, I know why we don't.
Well, that's why. That's it.
I understand.
So we can.
But we can, right? That's how I feel.
1,000% we can. Of course we can. How could we not be able to build the things, in many cases, we frickin' invented, or at least started first mass producing before anybody else did? Of course we can. What, an American worker can't build a television set, but an Asian worker can? That's bullshit.
They got tinier hands.
Okay. All right. Maybe advantage to the Chinese guy. But the reality of it is that it wasn't profitable, but not.
It was profitable, though.
It was profitable. Exactly. That's the point.
I feel like there's too many people making money doing nothing.
That's it. Too many middlemen.
Yes. That's how I feel like.
You feel that way for a very, very good reason, because it is true.
We see it on construction sites. You go on a construction site, you have a superintendent, 6 project managers, and those are on site. Then you got to get to the field.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, nothing's getting done. And, they're bitching about what gets done. Well, put the tool belt on, go to work.
I represent one of the largest plumbing HVAC contractors in the county, all union. I won't mention its name because I don't have his permission, but we talk about it all the time. And that is that you have all these construction management companies. They have no skin in the game. All they're doing is taking a fee for doing what? Doing what I think a general contractor used to do.
For sure they did. 100%. That's what they did.
And the general contractor took the risk.
Mm-hmm.
Their name was on the bottom line. They're the ones who guaranteed a date. They're the ones who guaranteed a price, etc. And then they work with their subs to deliver a product. Now you got all these middle guys who are taking a piece of the action.
And adding to the cost of the project.
Well,
and large
big time.
cost, too. Because
Huge,
like you
yeah.
said, construction management is probably the largest one. Probably.
And
There's just no reason for it.
And they're bringing almost no value to the table.
And then when you do get like the big companies come in and they, the bigger outfits, Panzica or Independence or so, they have all those safety programs and, whatever. I appreciate safety. I like the fact, but it's stupid safety. It's fake safety, I call it. High-vis vest. There's no reason for a high-vis vest inside a building. It just doesn't make sense. Who cares?
Yeah,
it's stupid. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
The helmets make sense. The glasses make sense.
To some degree, there's an argument on the glasses I would have, depending on the task at hand. I mean, if you're hanging drywall and it's 95 degrees outside, it's hard to see. Those glasses are fogging up all day long. That might be more of a hazard, honestly, in my opinion. But
could be.
But and more, I mean, I never had a problem with wearing those, but the fake safety bugs me. Like they'll let me walk on stilts to do a drop ceiling, but they'll have holes in the floor. But that's okay because they got a 2x4 that's marking where the hole is. They'll put them up on stands. Say, "Well, you're safe now." Oh, okay, thank you.
Not really.
Right. And that kind of stuff aggravates me. But it's like everybody's got to find their worth. And that's what I feel like Fauci did when he did his, was finding his worth.
Oh, you're going to get to Fauci one way or another. Okay, if you're going to get the,
but it's true though with the construction company. That's how I feel that
it is 100% true with construction. It's true in the pharmaceutical industry. We have these middle men who are managing these prescription programs for cities and governments all over the place, companies all over the place. What value they bring into the table? Why do we need them? And a few times, speaking of Trump, he mentioned something about that because I think he understands.
He gets it. It's wrong, but he's not fixing it. I don't know why. I don't understand that one. Money. These guys making stupid amount of money. See, I think they screwed up, and it's Obama that did it when he put in when he put the Affordable Care Act in. He screwed it up mainly because I think the first thing they should have done is they should have opened the states up.
Yes,
I think that's the big deal, and then I think that everything else was okay back then. It's just they needed to open the states.
The Affordable Care Act,
and now you've
had
created
some mistakes in it.
It did, but
the idea was good. The motivations were good. But you're 1,000% right. They did, in some places, did not go far enough, and they should have. And again, I attribute that to money. Too many, even if Obama personally wanted to do it, and I believe he did, he couldn't get it through Congress.
Yeah, well, I know we all have that argument too. That the debate to get it through everybody, that's tough.
It's tough
to make everybody agree
primarily because of money, which is why so many people.
But aren't you better off to do nothing than to do it the wrong way?
You might. I can't argue that point. I don't know. At the time when I complained to those Democrats in Congress who I knew, who got a vote on it, the argument back to me was, it's a first step, Tony. And I'm waiting for the step number 2, and it's been 18 years. It ain't happened.
Well, I feel like the argument, my thing is that where I have the problem with the medical, I think that medical expenses, if and I don't know, I'm older, I'm not older than you, but maybe that's some of the people in the audience, but in the 90s, if you remember, the big thing that it was like HMOs were deciding the prices, and it was pissing off the medical field, and for some reason, I feel like that was keeping medical care costs under control.
It was.
And I feel like they got an open end ticket now, and they just charge what they want, and the government just pays whatever it is.
They have an open-end ticket.
And I think that's the mistake that's there.
It is.
However that happened. I don't know where that happened but it's a bad mistake.
It is the mistake that happened. And now, now to fix it, people are talking about, oh, we'll put caps on them, and we'll do this and we'll do that. Well, those are stopgap measures. You got to fix the system itself. And I'm a proponent of Medicare for all idea. And some people say, that's ridiculous. That's going to make the problem even worse. It's federal government's picking the bill up. Well, no, the Medicare program is actually a pretty well-run program. Now, a lot of doctors, the providers complain about it.
You mean like when I was a
'Cause
kid,
they
like
don't-
welfare insurance? Is that what you're talking about? Like what I had when I was a kid, when I was on welfare? Is that the Medicare, or are you talking like older people Medicare? Is there a difference?
There is. I'm talking about older care, older people Medicare.
Okay.
A program like that. We call it Medicaid for those who are on welfare or
Okay.
don't have. But it should be a Medicare type program, a managed program.
What's the difference between Medicaid and Medicare?
I think just the Medicare, as an older person, you paid into it, your working life, whereas Medicaid is something you can be eligible for based on your current income status. If you're poor enough,
But it's the same insurance, you think?
it's very, very similar.
Okay.
It's very, very similar. Medicare, I use Medicare, and I think most people use Medicare because it's a program that everybody in my age group, for the most part, believes in. They paid into it. It's working for them, more or less, and they view it as now a right.
Yeah, it is a right. Yeah, absolutely.
because you
Yeah.
felt like you paid for it. The key though to controlling the costs is you got to allow the federal government to negotiate with drug companies and with other providers to get prices that are fair and reasonable. And you have so many restrictions. Our own government has restricted itself in negotiating with, for example, drug companies. Again, I think Trump recognizes that problem.
And he has done something with that Trump
with about
prescriptions or something.
10 drugs. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but why just those 10? Why not all of them? Why are we only selecting a few?
Because we want skinny people in the world. We got to get the people that we can't look at fat people no more.
GLP-1s. It's actually an amazing drug.
My mother loves it. That's for sure.
It's an amazing drug.
It apparently is.
Has a lot of medical benefits to it, but it's crazy when some medical plans buy those GLP-1s and it's $1,200, $1,300 a month. Yet you can, on your own, go make a deal and buy the drug for $150 a month.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
My wife was going to a salon in Beechwood where you could just buy it.
Uh-huh.
Like a year ago, she went
For a
there.
lot less than $1,300 a month.
She didn't go. My wife wasn't taking it.
I understand
I'm not
that,
saying
but
she was taking, but at the salon, her friend works
They
there.
offer it.
Basically, they have it for
Yeah.
like something like that, 150 or
Yeah.
200 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It was cheap.
Trump was talking about it. He says he was saying you can get it for $150 a month. And I'm thinking, then why are insurance plans paying $1,300 a month?
Right.
It's because of the prescription management company, the pharmaceutical management companies, the middlemen, who are taking a big slice of the action. So can we fix this? Yeah, I think we can. Is it going to be easy? No, because a lot of people are making a lot of money, too much money. I should say a few people are making too much money, and they don't want that change, but it needs to change. We're paying too big a percentage of the GDP
My fear
for health insurance.
My fear as a conservative, though, type of thought, is that if the government gets involved, then what about the good doctors and the great doctors that say, hey, I'm not taking that insurance because I'm not going to be limited. What about that? I mean,
that's a legitimate concern. One of my best friends, he's retired now, was a doctor, and he refused to take the government paid. Well, he said, "I'm not going to do that."
What was his
and-
reason? Because it was too low?
Yeah, because the reimbursement was too low, and they would find ways, or the government would find ways around getting it to him. But to me, it should be this: if I don't want to accept the limit, I still provide the service, and then my patient pays the difference. So the government pays
It's fair
X,
enough.
and the patient says, "I want you to be my doctor."
But if you're on like Medicaid or Medicare, the odds of you having the difference is pretty
Well,
tough. I mean, that's
then you are going to get the doctors who are willing to provide the service at that price. And if you want something different, I mean, most Medicare people, most people who would be in this program, which would, for me, would be everybody would be eligible for it. But, and this is a big but everybody pays into it. In other words,
it's a tax.
The-
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
a part
well,
of your
just like the
taxes.
Medicare
Yeah,
taxes.
Yeah.
It's a contribution in. So even though you're young and healthy and you're not married and you don't see yourself ever getting sick,
But what if you don't work and don't have an income?
well, then you're not going to pay into the system.
So you don't get
Then-
sure you don't
then
get
you-
insured then?
Well, then you get that's what Medicaid would be for. Well, that depends. Why are you not working?
Well, some people aren't working so they can get Medicaid.
Well,
I mean, that's a real thing. Like there's
I-
genuinely people out there struggling and they're like,
Hmm.
but they can't go without insurance because they may have a medical condition.
Yeah.
There is real problems out there that I know of people that actually
so do I.
work for less, because it's better off for them to only work 3 days a week because they still get their medical benefits.
Okay, that's different than the person who could work isn't working at all to get Medicaid. So that's another problem with the system. The system penalizes people for improving their life.
Yes.
It's an all or nothing thing. Oh, once you get over the threshold, you're completely cut off. That's bullshit.
Right.
What you should be doing is saying the more and more money you make, the less and less your subsidy, if you want to call it that, is, to the point where then at some point you don't get a subsidy
I mean,
anymore.
I feel like that's
don't
how it
get it.
is now, isn't it?
No,
think that's
no,
true.
No, a lot of it is all or nothing. If you hit a certain income mark, you're off.
I thought that was that Affordable Care Act. I thought had a discounted rate. I thought if you went to your insurance company,
The
there's
ACA,
a discounted
discounted rate.
rate. I thought that's how it was. Am I wrong?
No,
I don't.
you're not wrong about that. I'm talking about Medicaid.
Oh, if
Okay.
you just put it on Medicaid. But I'm just saying that's how it is now, though. It is a discounted
Yeah,
rate. at
ACA
this point.
is different than Medicaid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I know. Yeah,
All right.
that's just the
ACA
insurance you
really
can
is
get
for
now
people who are working,
Yeah,
who simply can't afford, or their employer doesn't offer a plan. And this is a way to get
nothing for a lot of money.
for, well, I've never been on the ACA, so I don't know what its benefits are, but they're not terrible.
I paid-
They're not nothing.
$1,200 a month with a $6,000 deductible.
And that's pretty high.
It's horrible. It's
Yeah,
bad. It's real bad.
that's pretty high.
Yeah. And I'm not rich by any means, but I always earn a decent living every year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I know is that I represent the Lorraine City School District. It offers an ACA plan to its employees, so you can get a gold standard plan, you can get a kind of a regular plan, and it's 4 tiers. And the bottom tier, if you will, is the ACA, which is really for people who maybe can't afford because their contribution is less.
Yeah.
Can't afford and don't feel they need the higher level insurance, so they can live with a $6,000 deductible. Well, you can if you're not sick. Deductible only applies if what? You get sick. So you're not going to run to the doctor for every little thing. But if you do go to the doctor, and it's an annual, I presume it was an annual deductible
Yeah.
for your whole family. So it's
I don't think that's
cumulative?
true. I don't
You think it was
that-
individual? I
it
think
is
might-
individual. I
That
think
doesn't
it's
sound like a
individual.
very good plan.
It's not. They're
Again,
not. They're
I don't-
horrible.
I don't.
They're bad.
I don't know what the. I'll confess, I don't know what it is. But yeah, if it's that big, then it's probably not that great.
Yeah, and then
Although it
when
wouldn't
you
be so-
argue with them, they just want because I've been on the phone with them. I don't want this deductible. I don't want to have to think about and because I'm a cheap bastard. I mean, when it comes to, I mean, I'm not gonna spend what I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start getting rid of those deductibles, guess what? They're about $6,000 more a year. So it's like,
Okay.
you know, you either almost pay it or you do pay it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, you got to have a deductible of some amount. It keeps people honest, I think.
It
But-
does. When I was a kid on welfare on Medicaid,
Mhm.
I mean, we just went. When we went to the doctor,
Mhm.
it didn't matter. Whatever it was, just
You
go to the
went
doctor.
because
Just
it was
go.
covered.
Yeah, it was covered. You
Yeah.
didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
So I get and I understand that. Yeah, you want to make it like, yeah, I get that part of it. I do,
It
100%.
just keeps everybody honest. I mean, it
Yeah,
just
there's no
does.
reason to go for every little thing. There just isn't. I know for a fact I went for stuff I shouldn't have went for when I was a kid.
That there you go. And the other side of it can happen too. You have really great insurance. Like now, I just had my annual physical. Turned 75 about a month ago, right? And so we should start having tests for this and that and the other thing. It's like, all right, if you think so.
At 75, you should start getting tested. I think you're all right.
Well, that's kind of my argument on some things. Like, really? I mean, anyhow, I had one. It was a pretty expensive test. I mean, my copay was like $300,
Jeez.
and the test lasted 30 minutes. And I'm thinking, man, somebody made a lot of money on this deal.
A lot of people did,
I
probably.
mean, it's like, so if my share was $300 and some dollars, it had to be a $1,500 or $1,800 test for, okay, the equipment cost some money. The technician
The building.
was a nice guy. Yeah, the building, it was a nice building and all that. But man, that's
But every half hour.
cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I'm thinking, that's quite a profitable operation.
What about all the people that say that the biggest expense is their insurance?
Their own insurance.
You know what? You're old enough that you remember. When I was a kid, I had a doctor I used to go to that was on Oberlin Avenue.
Mhm.
It was like an old house converted into I can't think of his name right now.
I'll probably
Dr.
think of it.
Seljan or something.
Sisson?
Is that what it was?
Could have been. Over an avenue.
Oberlin Avenue?
Mhm.
And he had a house
Mhm.
and it was turning, and then he ended up having to close because they raised his medical insurance for his practice to $80,000. Well, no, they raised it up $80,000 per year.
Mhm.
And then the community had sent some money. Do you remember that whole thing
do.
happening?
I do.
That was my doctor. And I remember at that time thinking, man, how can they raise his insurance that high?
Yeah.
And then I got to talking to an architect and a doctor, both. I had talked to both of them that are telling me that that's the sole reason we don't have small architectural practices or medical practices is because of their insurance. They can't afford it collectively, and they pay it when they go into a center or a group of them.
Yeah.
It's some sort of anything. It's
Yeah.
always a group
Yeah.
so that they could cover the insurance because it's just too expensive otherwise.
The insurances were crazy. There's another place where, and again, not my side of the aisle, which gets money from plaintiffs' attorneys, probably don't like it, and some people would not like it, don't think it's fair. But honestly, if a doctor makes a mistake, unless it was extreme, in other words, he just didn't care. He, was out drinking the night before and he went in and performed something really bad. But if it's an honest mistake and you're damaged by that honest mistake, it seems to me that there should just be a fund that also is part of what we pay into. And you get paid out of that fund, almost like a workers' comp fund. You can't sue separately for it. it would cut way, way, way down on that
It would.
particular item.
But if it comes out of their pocket, it makes them a little more.
Well, but that's a regulatory thing. So
Right,
so
right.
now, if the same doctor makes a mistake every year, that people are, well, maybe now we got a problem with the doctor.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
in other words, or he makes the mistake 5 times a year. Now you have a different issue. Maybe that doctor's license should be looked at, suspended. But to raise the rates on the good doctors who've never had a claim, like I've never had a malpractice claim, professional liability claim, 50 years of practicing law. Okay, well, doctors are in a different category. They're going to make different kinds of mistakes. I've made mistakes, but they didn't result in damage to
Sure.
someone. Okay, a doctor makes a mistake. It can usually lead to a damage, but pay them out of the fund.
Possibly. Yeah.
Well, then you won't have an $80,000.
I mean, that's what the insurance
then you won't
company
have
is, really, isn't it?
$80,000. Well, there's a profit.
Well, that was, if you remember when that happened, though, when that went up 80,000.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
And I'll put it to you this way. A doctor makes a mistake. As a result of the mistake, I die. Should the doctor who made the mistake, let's assume it's an honest mistake, nothing, it was crazy, but enough to create liability. You kill me when my kids were young, that's going to be a big number,
Yeah.
right? Well, should that be the number, or should the number be something smaller? In other words, do my kids get to be millionaires because somebody made a mistake and killed me? That's a legitimate question.
Mhm.
Or should someone make sure that my kids get supported like the way I would have supported them had I lived?
I think that
And it-
comes down to negligence. If it's, I think that comes down to, like you say, whether it's an honest mistake or not.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
It's still negligence, though. Negligence is still leads to
negligence is
liability.
negligence, but I mean, if they're doing it deliberately, like they're deliberately not putting your any, if they're I think that's a little
That's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. In the workers' comp field, as an example, and I
Mhm.
know this firsthand, you have an accident at work, you break a leg. There's a number that they give you for that broken leg.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's set by law, and there's other factors could affect how much money you get. And then you get a percentage of your pay.
But that's
Fair.
a very different.
But now I'll give
Yeah.
you the example. Now, and I had one of these cases, I represented a lady. If it's what they call an intentional tort, that's what we called it back then, where the employer knew that what they were having you do was likely to lead to serious injury or death. That was the definition, serious bodily injury or death. And they knew it and still had you do whatever the task was or use whatever the equipment was. Then they could be held liable over and above the workers' comp for your damages. That makes sense. That's intentional. That's what I think you were going at.
Yes.
So now you're not limited to your workers' comp. And then and I had one of those cases, it was against Ford, and they ended up paying several $1 million to my client because we proved that they intentionally had her use a piece of equipment that they knew was dangerous. And it did injure her severely enough that she couldn't go back to work again. So she lost. And a jury in Lorraine County awarded some pretty hefty damages as a result of it. Today, you can't do that. They've taken that away. But
They have.
they have.
Okay.
But you can get more workers' compensation than you could normally get from a regular accident. They call it a violation of a specific safety requirement, maybe something
So let me
different.
ask you this: when you did that with Ford, did that
Mhm.
actually go? Was that suing Ford or Workman's Comp? The extra money.
The
Was it
extra money
directly to Ford or
direct-
to
directly to Ford.
Directly to Ford. Okay.
And because they violated a specific safety requirement, she was entitled to some additional workers' comp. But today, you're pretty much limited to the additional workers' comp.
Yeah, that's it. And that's where it stops.
Yeah, I haven't done it for a long time, but it's a tough deal now to sue your employer directly unless it's really egregious, like not an intentional tort, but an assault or something.
Oh, really?
More direct. Yeah.
So if they put you in a dangerous situation, and they're not going to let you sue them now?
Not directly. You're limited to the workers' comp fund, but that doesn't mean the government can't do something to the employer, and they oftentimes do.
What does that mean?
Penalize them for what occurred, like a construction job. If let's say a hole they're digging caves in, like when they're putting sewers in or something like that, they're supposed to have
The cage in there, yeah.
And if they don't have the cage in there, and the guy gets in the hole and it collapses on, kills him, or severely injures them, there's going to be a penalty that's going to be meted out by the
So instead of the injured
government.
person and his family getting to sue him, now the government gets to sue him for penalty?
Well,
That's a bunch of bullshit, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be but the family would get the workers' comp. They would get
That's it. And then the government could sue the company and get that money, and that's just their money?
The penalty goes to the government. Yeah, they don't necessarily
miss a
sue.
beat, do
No,
they?
they don't.
Wow. Who knew that one?
Well, if you're trying to save on insurance, that's
Well, some
the way
people
to
do
it.
self-insured. Some of the bigger companies do self-insured. How's that work? Like workman's comp, self-insured workman's comp. How does
Yeah,
that work?
a lot different than a doctor situation, but it works basically the same way. Instead of paying the money into the workers' comp fund, the company puts up security to the government and says when a claim comes in, we'll pay it directly.
And that's just
it. They just pay it directly.
how come more don't just do that?
A lot of companies do.
Oh, okay.
A lot
A
of
lot of them do
companies-
it that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're
I know
big
the
enough,
bigger contractors do.
exactly. You have to have a certain net worth, and
And they have to have enough liquid, I know, for sure,
Correct.
to do it.
Exactly.
You got to be liquid.
you can't be a little operation and qualify for self-funding.
Right, right. So we skipped over it. We were getting ready to start on it, but Fauci.
Yeah, my boy.
You're the only person I've heard defend.
I am not the only
Yeah.
person. He's just hanging around
Pleading
in the
the
wrong
fifth.
circles.
You're the only one I've heard defend him pleading the fifth.
Yeah, well,
How many times was it?
I don't know, 117.
Is that what it was?
It could have been one. I mean, come on. Dr. Fauci, what color is your hair? I refuse to answer the question on the grounds. And, well, I mean, yeah, if you ask enough stupid questions, you can get the number up to 1,000.
Yeah.
did you hear the
okay, fair
questions?
enough. But there was
So
plenty.
there was one question that should have been asked, and that is, are you going to answer any questions today? No, I'm not. And then it would have been taking the fifth one time.
Oliver North had to sit there and say, I don't recollect 30
because
million
it's
times.
because it's all performance art.
Sure.
This isn't about getting to the truth. It's about being able to go out.
You don't think that it's about getting to the truth?
No, I don't.
What do you think it is then?
Once a guy says, I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment rights, that's the end of it. So asking those questions to a guy who you know isn't going to answer them isn't getting to the truth. It's so that you can go on TikTok or Facebook or in an ad and say, Dr. Fauci took the fifth 117 times.
I think, well, on Fox News, they're only saying 101, I think.
101, whatever the number is. Sounds good. And then you see these comparisons now. Yeah, well, Trump took the fifth 440 times in his deposition. Well, okay, but if he was asked 440 questions.
Yeah, but I still don't see
He
how you
already
defend
told
that
you.
guy. I still think that guy went a little like,
We talked about this earlier.
yeah, we did. I
Okay,
think he
so-
went a little too like, I think he just got himself too important at
There
the
you go.
moment.
I think in the moment, And I think his diary probably reveals that a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay. Okay. But here's the question. What do you do? What am I defending? Am I defending his ego? No, I'm not defending his ego. Am I defending the fact that he's not a criminal? Yeah, I'll defend that he's not a criminal, even though he invoked his Fifth Amendment right. And I say that because
Well, it doesn't even matter. He didn't have to do that as far as that goes because he has an immunity anyways.
he doesn't have immunity for lying to Congress today. He has immunity for what he did prior to
That's what I'm saying. So if he tells the truth right now, exactly as it happens, he has immunity.
Well, no, he doesn't have immunity for telling the truth today. He has immunity for what he did prior to Trump taking office. What I'm saying is, if today he says something, this is what his lawyers were concerned with, and based on comments that were made by the chairman of the committee, Rand Paul, these are legitimate concerns his lawyers had. And that is, he says something today, and then they look at something he said to Congress a year ago, or whenever it was, 2 years ago, whenever he testified. And if
they're contradicting, I got
then
you.
then they're going to say, well, now you committed perjury.
They are contradicting though, for sure. They know that. They don't doubt that. They know that. And not even his fault. That's just, he thought he knew something he didn't, I think, at the time.
And that's the point. I think today we all know that things he told us back then weren't accurate.
Sure.
The fact that he might have thought that they were accurate at the time, or the fact that he, in my opinion, didn't tell us everything because he didn't want to see Asians slaughtered or assaulted on our streets. Because had he said, and I firmly believe this, had he said, well, in looking at our records, it is true that the NIH, which I was heading up, did fund a laboratory, a Chinese laboratory in Wuhan, China, and that laboratory was experimenting with or researching or studying the coronavirus. And it is possible that in the course of doing that, this lab allowed out a leak of this, one of these mutated viruses that they made themselves, and caused people in Wuhan to get the COVID-19 virus, which then spread to the United States. I'm telling you right now, there would have been Asians, Chinese people in this country, U.S. citizens, who would have been assaulted and or killed if the chief medical doctor at that time, Fauci, had said it. Trump just calling it the China virus caused a whole bunch of that kind of reaction in cities throughout the country.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I was telling you.
You told me that before.
I saw
that
the
you've
actual.
Seen it. Yeah, I've never seen it.
It was on.
I've heard it. I've heard him say it on the news that it was an issue.
It was
but I've never seen any.
It was either a street camera or a subway camera that showed a guy attacking an Asian woman for no reason other than she was Asian, and he was blaming her.
But are we sure it had to do with Corona?
Yeah, that's what he said he was complaining about the virus. Yeah, he was.
But don't we just think it might have been a crazy person that just was using that as an excuse?
Clearly a crazy person. But if they're using that as an excuse and they pick a Chinese woman, now if he says that and he attacks you, then say, well, he's just a crazy person. You don't look Chinese or Asian. But if he does it and he picks on a clearly Asian-looking woman, then I think you can tie the two together.
And how often did that happen? Like they said it was constant. I keep hearing, but I don't.
I think it happened quite a bit.
This is the first story I've heard of it. You've told me about it. I've never even heard of it. I heard that it was going on, and I thought, is this even a problem? When I remember it coming on the news, and I go, is this even a problem? I never even heard of this issue.
It was a problem. It was a problem on social media. It was a problem everywhere, and that's with only people drawing their own conclusions based on where the virus came from, which was probably accurate. What we don't know was, I think it honestly could have led to a war. between our country and China. If the pressure started building on Trump, who was already referring to it as the China virus, and he'd say it in the way he can. Now, some people, and then Fauci saying, yeah, it came out of this lab, and we don't know if they did it on purpose or was by accident. You don't think we might have gone to war over it?
So
I
you think it's
have.
okay? You think it's okay for
I mean,
him
a
to get
million
up
people
there
in this
and,
country died.
and hold secrets?
Do I think it's okay?
For him to hold secrets based on what he thinks is best for us, or does it, as in a free country, as we just give us?
I don't think we
give
were
us the
harmed.
truth?
That's my point. I don't think we were harmed by him not telling us.
Man, we
Okay.
might have been.
How?
Well, the people that got vaccinated, I mean, they put something in their body they don't want to.
No, you still needed the vaccination. Okay, I'm talking
We'll
about.
agree to disagree
wait,
on that,
wait a
but go
minute.
ahead.
I'm talking about whether he told us, if he said, in my opinion, the virus was created at this lab that we had funded, and this virus is the one that got out that killed 1 million people.
No,
in
I
this
see what
country.
you're saying. Okay, we'd still do the virus. I see what you're saying now. Okay. I
Doesn't
got what
matter
you're saying.
how it happened.
Right.
Okay. But now your point is, well, what about the fact that he led us to believe that the vaccine itself would stop me from getting COVID-19?
Well, I'm just saying total honesty all the way. Like, if you don't know for sure, like if you're up there saying, this is what you have to do, this stops the spread, you're saving your family, you're doing this. I mean, to me, the honesty is like, we don't know. We think it's the best thing. Let's try it. We think it's going to work. We can respect that.
You're a thinking person, and so you'd say, I respect that, and I'm going to behave accordingly. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who aren't thinking people. And if he would have said, if this may or may not help, then I think a lot of people wouldn't have gotten the vaccine, and I think a lot of people would have died because they didn't get the vaccine. Because we know that a lot of people did die who didn't get the vaccine. It didn't prevent you from getting it, the vaccine. I got the vaccine and 2 boosters.
So you're saying nobody that's got the vaccine died?
The percentage of the people who got the vaccine who died versus the percentage of the people who didn't get the vaccine.
You don't think that has anything to do with the fact that it was hot at this time and cold at that time?
No, I don't think it had the thing to do. The virus is the virus.
Yeah, but we collectively get a natural immunity collectively eventually.
It didn't work in the Spanish flu.
Do you know why that was though? Do you know who was only affecting there?
No, I mean I do know.
It was only affecting the young people because they had never got it. See, the Spanish flu was the opposite.
No. I'm talking about the original Spanish flu.
That's what I'm talking about. The original Spanish flu had infected a lot of Americans. It wasn't as bad as the one in the 20s.
I'm talking about the original 1920s. I'm old, so I'm going back to when the Spanish flu.
Right, it infected
in the 1920. That was before 1920.
Yeah, it was in 1800s.
Well, early 1900s.
Maybe it might have been 1901 or something.
Yeah,
but those
killed
people,
millions and millions of people around the country.
But the people that it didn't, they had immunity.
Yeah, but it took.
So when it came back in 2020, it was only killed in the young people.
I agree with you. That's my point. My point is that it took a lot of dead people to develop enough herd immunity.
Well, but I'm saying, the vaccine doesn't come out till a year later.
In the early 1900s. Well,
how long did the Spanish flu last? It didn't last but a year anyway.
Oh no! The original one.
As far as I know,
it lasted for probably 4 or 5 years.
Maybe you might be right.
It killed millions of people, tens of millions of people.
They traveled slow then too.
Came around again.
Yeah.
So one of my theories is that my 95-year-old mother at the time that COVID hit, she was 91. She had never had the flu vaccine in her entire life. One of my theories is that my mom was born in 1928. And I believe she got whatever immunity her mother gave to her when she gave birth to her.
That's very possible. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I believe it because her sisters, my mom had 4 sisters and a brother. And I don't remember any of them ever getting the flu bad. They all lived, 2 of them are still living. I think they all got the natural immunity from their mother, who lived in the early 1900s and was exposed to the Spanish flu. And they developed it. Didn't die. So if you didn't die, you developed the immunity.
Sure.
And my mom never, ever got a flu shot in her entire life. I can't remember a time she had the flu.
But I gotta
I've had the
believe in a
flu,
year.
though. So my mom's immunity to me might have
Didn't
been
work so
good.
much.
Well, it was good, but not that good.
Yeah.
Because I still got flu, and since I've been 50, I get a.
Does it
flu
matter if
shot.
you're breastfed or not?
I think
I know it does when you're a kid, but do you think it does as an adult? I'm just curious.
No, I don't think it does as an adult. I
know it does as a kid for sure.
sure it does.
Yeah.
For sure it does. So the point is, it takes a while. So how many dead people are we willing to accept?
I just think that everybody already had it by then. Everybody had already gotten it. But by the time the
Might be right.
vaccine came out, I think everybody already had it. It's not horse and buggy. We were going
You're right.
lightning
You're right.
fast. I think everybody
probably
had it.
everybody was exposed to it one way or the other.
And the other thing that
Most people.
one of my other arguments is I hate the fact that because they always say 1 million people, and in the United States it's I forget what is it. Was it in the United States like 400,000 or something, 500,000 more or something than a year before? Is that what it is?
Died?
Yeah, just in the United States. I can't remember. I think it's
After the vaccine came out, or before?
no before from
In the beginning, it was over 1 million.
in the United States.
Yeah.
That's not in 1 year though. We're talking
No, over the
But when you take
2-year period.
if you take the years though, if you take that
Mhm.
year, it jumped that 400,000, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Then it kind of like lowered down. Then the next year it kind of spiked a little bit, but it's still around the same thing that it was death rates in America, basically. So my thing is, isn't this just boomers dying off? Or am I crazy to think that
I think
it's
some
just
of it is.
they're just saying that and it's boomers dying off?
I think some of that is. I think that's true. I mean,
if you
I
have a
think
baby boom
hospitals-
of people being born, you're going to have a
A
death
boom of death,
Yes,
right,
yeah, it's
right.
going to happen.
I think I think that plays into the numbers to some extent, and some argue, well, hospitals got more money if they said you were.
I heard that
COVID.
too. Yeah, I heard that.
Now, there's probably truth to that. I mean, I wouldn't put anything.
If I
past
owned the
them.
hospital, it would be true. I promise.
But I use my own experience. Talk about, well, everybody got COVID. Well, I didn't.
You don't
and-
know that you did or didn't.
Well, I do because
You tested yourself every day?
no. What I'm saying is, to my knowledge, I'll put it
There
that
you
way.
go. All right,
Okay.
I like that.
I didn't have any symptoms that would indicate I had COVID.
Me
Then I
neither.
got the vaccine, and then about 6 months later, I got COVID. But 6 months later, I was being more, I was being less careful about who I hung around with. For the 6 months it was going on, or 8 months it was going on before the vaccine came out, I was being super careful. I was
you
wearing
were
a
one of
mask.
those?
Oh, damn right I was. 1,000% was one of those. I was staying away. Well, remember, I had a 91-year-old mother who I was one of the primary caretakers for.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So
That's-
you think
gotta be
I was going to
careful.
kill my
Yeah,
mom?
No, you can't take
that wasn't going
risk.
to happen.
Well, you know when it
But
first
the funny
happened,
thing
though,
is, I got it.
and it didn't affect her?
Two of my, and it didn't affect. She didn't get it. She didn't get it. No vaccine. She didn't get it. I got it. It's like,
And you don't think that it's all full of shit? You still don't think that?
no, I just think that she got that immunity from, because, she had the flu immunity that probably the worst flu to ever hit the world, at least in the last 200 years.
Right.
She had that immunity, and I think that carried her through. Plus, some people were just naturally.
They said that certain blood
Immune to it.
types, for sure.
I'm a big believer in that.
They said that, and then smokers. They said just it did not affect
It's the
smokers.
same way. I believe things like that played a role in why some people didn't get it, or if they got it, didn't show symptoms. That's the other problem with the vaccine. The vaccine, you could get it, but if it was working effectively, you didn't show any symptoms, but you could still transmit it.
Yeah.
And that's where I thought I don't think they intentionally lied about it. I think they believed that you
Yeah,
would
because you're
be
supposed
less,
to save your grandparents or whatever.
yeah,
You know.
and you were less likely to transmit it. But that wasn't true. You could transmit it even though you had the vaccine.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I believe it as much as I mean, I just don't know. I really don't know because I don't know that it's the numbers are, like I said, I think the baby boomers, I mean, that's going to happen. The numbers are pretty high. The numbers like last year were as high as 2020.
But
The death rate in America, I checked it. I did.
really, from COVID-19.
Not from COVID-19,
Oh,
just the
just the
death in
death
America.
rate.
The death rate in America is the same in 2025 as it was in 2020. I mean, it went down for a little bit. Now it spiked back up. And I really think it's boomers. That's what I think. I think that, I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it was a normal flu, but they
boomers-
say flu kills X amount of people every year, too. I mean,
every year.
you know.
Yeah, every year. Every year.
And before COVID came out, it was a number that I couldn't wrap my head around. I remember like literally like 2 months before COVID came out, well, before they shut us down,
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about it already, but they said the flu killed like 40,000 Ohioans a year. I'm like, 40,000? That's great. I don't know anybody who died of the flu.
I don't either.
And 40,000 a year died in Ohio? That doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, I don't know. That the whole thing, it makes me nervous because I don't know if I'm being lied to. I don't know if I'm being bullshitted. I just don't like it.
I just accept the fact that we're not always being lied to. Sometimes we're being told what people believe in good faith. And sometimes I think we're being told, a lie, but a lie to prevent us from doing something stupid.
But you don't think anybody out there is evil? Just giving you horrible information, except Trump. I mean, besides Trump.
Yeah, the weird thing is, I don't even think he says things for the purpose of being evil. I don't think that at all.
No.
I think he says some really wild and dumb things because he's just.
I feel like he's like our
doesn't
dad.
know.
Like he says stuff our dads would have said. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
just
think that's
old
fair.
school.
Old school bullshit.
Yeah,
stuff,
that's
right?
what I think it is. I 100% believe that.
I'll buy that. I don't think he says some of the things he says because he's evil. I wouldn't ascribe that to him. I would say maybe he doesn't care, or he's not a. I don't think he's a very empathetic character.
I would, on TV, he
Indeed.
sounds that way, but the stories you tell about that, or the stories you hear about the things he's done, like flying sick kids in his plane, or,
okay.
you know what I mean? Or like the fixing that car do you ever hear about the guy that helped
I've
him
heard.
fix his tire or whatever, and he sent his wife flowers and paid off their house or something? I don't know, some crazy stuff. I mean, that sounds like somebody who has that in him. And to me, my thing is a good measurement of any man is his children.
Okay.
And he's got some really good kids. I mean, he really does. I mean, you don't like them because they're not Democrats, but they're good kids. They really are.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Donnie Jr., but the other two I'm okay with.
Well, Don Jr.'s not a horrible person, is he? What's he do?
I don't know.
He's a good kid, isn't he? I mean, if he was your son, you'd be happy. None of us like everything our kids do, but if he was your son, you'd be okay with it, right?
I'm not sure I would.
No, he's that bad to you? What is his worst trait? I want to hear it. I'm curious. There's people that think he's going to run as president with Trump as the vice and then bail out after they win.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I think it's probably just the way he handles himself in public. He doesn't seem like a humble guy at all. He's pretty aggressive. I'm not a big game hunter. He apparently is. You
don't hunt at all? Ever?
When I was younger, I hunted rabbit with a shotgun, and my grandfather and my uncles, and my dad.
You didn't like it?
I didn't.
I got an uncle like that. He's the same thing.
I mean, but I eat meat, so I'm being a hypocrite if I say, well, somebody else did it for me. So
yeah,
I just not.
I got an uncle. He said, "There's no way I could look at that poor defenseless thing."
Yeah,
he always said that.
And then some of these deals. I mean, this whole deal where was it him or Eric that wanted to buy soccer thing, and it's like, what are you guys doing? Making deals with the Saudis, and I don't know. I would not be proud of one of my kids if they were doing that shit, and I was the president. I think I would probably say, whoa, 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 whoa. Just like I would have said the same thing to, if I was Biden, I'd have said the same thing to
The Hunter. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
You ain't taking no damn directorship of some Ukrainian company.
Oil
We do
company,
business with Ukraine. That ain't happening.
There goes a question I got for you. What did you ever think about that with Joe Biden when he said, what did he say? He was in the interview and he's like basically said that they're going to do it. Oh, well, that's what they're going to do. It was talking about Ukraine. They better, they're not going to get the funding. Do you remember that? I can't remember. I can't remember how that went.
I remember.
That was pretty,
Yeah.
that was pretty like wild, I thought.
Well, certainly the way it was portrayed, as I recall it, I think it was, again, as I recall it, and I could be wrong. You had our equivalent of an attorney general who wasn't going after some guys who were clearly, Ukraine had a lot of corruption in it. I mean, it still does.
This was just an interview. I'm not talking about anything in front of anybody. This was just an interview he was doing.
Yeah, but wasn't it about the whole issue of, hey, if you guys don't do what you need to do, oh, well.
Yeah, they were supposed to turn over something maybe from their attorney general, from Ukraine's attorney general or
Correct.
something, right? I think
Correct.
is what it was. Yeah, I kind of remember now what
And
it was.
it wasn't happening. And it was, I think, pretty clear that the folks who were being corrupt were being covered by the attorney general, and that was a problem. And it's like, well, then you're just not going to get the money.
You don't think they bought him when they paid Hunter all that money?
I think that was the intention, is to buy him, but then they did go after him.
Yeah,
So-
no, they did. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I 100% think it was the intention to buy Biden's favor by which is why I would have told my kid, you're not taking the damn job.
Sure. Yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
like, no way, no how. I'm the president of the goddamn United States, and you're going to take money with a country that we're providing money to or doing other things for? No.
Who's your
Ain't happening.
favorite president of all time?
During my lifetime? Or
you
all
do
time?
whatever you want. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. I mean, we could do both if you want to.
Okay. My favorite president, I would have to say, would be John F. Kennedy.
That's the same with me.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? On the
Yes.
opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
our favorite president.
That's yeah.
That shows you how good he was.
I think so.
Yeah.
And yet there are people who hated the guy. And I was
Back then, I don't think today that's true.
like, less so today.
Yeah, I don't think today that's
Yeah.
true. Back then, yes, there
Yeah.
was people that hate him. Obviously, they
Yeah.
shot him, but
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, back then but now I don't find that anywhere. I don't find anybody that's anything negative to say about him
yeah.
ever
I mean,
on any side.
yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
That's pretty cool. One
Yeah,
last
well.
thing we'll get into, and then we can go.
All right. What is
Flock
it?
cameras.
Flock cameras. Ooh, apparently it suddenly has become a really, really hot subject.
A lot of people didn't know.
See, I was exposed to these things like 2 years ago, 3 years
A
ago.
lot of people didn't know.
So, full confession, I'm like all in favor of them.
That's a shocker.
But not all in favor of some of the misuse of these things. So, what am I in favor of? I'm in favor of reading license plates. That's it.
I thought that's all it did, like scan the plate. I didn't know it tracked the person and all that. I didn't know anything.
Well, that's just it. I didn't either. At least, and I think it's probably improved over the last few years. But several years ago, when I was first introduced to what they were, I thought it was license plate readers. That's what they call them, license
Yeah,
plate readers.
yeah.
And it's like
LPRs.
those suckers help solve crimes
Yeah.
big time, because you'd have these shootings, these drive-by shootings. In Lorraine,
Yeah.
have a drive-by shooting, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, if you have a camera that picks up a license plate between this block and that block, at around the time that the shooting took place, and it's 4:00 in the morning, probably you got a suspect that you
Would
can
make sense.
You can at least have some place to start.
Somewhere to question, yeah.
Okay, but then I'm hearing these things are being used to follow people around, or cops are using them to follow their ex-girlfriends, or all this stuff. Well, then that's a whole different.
My
So-
thing is I'm not against them.
Okay,
I'm not a big fan of them.
I'm not.
I just don't want to be watched all the time, no matter what. It's horrible. Like when I at this
We
bar,
are being watched.
my wife is got me on camera. I'm in a fishbowl the whole time I'm here. So now I got to realize the government's got to be in a fishbowl everywhere else.
20 years ago, we were warned about this stuff. It was more than 20 years ago. What was that movie with
1984.
Gene Hackman and Will Smith were in? And Gene Hackman was, I forget the name of but they were tracking everything. The CIA was tracking everything, and Hackman
Minority Report.
might
that
have
what it
been
is?
something like that. I don't know.
I don't know if that's
But
Gene Hackman.
but it was definitely Gene Hackman, and he went completely off the grid, so that nobody could track him. And the things that they were doing to Will Smith to track him and to ruin his life and all
Oh
these
yeah,
things.
he was
Remember
staying
that?
in a building with all the foil on the
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
What is
That
that?
was
Might be
it.
him. I can't remember.
It
what
wasn't
that is.
Minority Report,
No, I know what you're talking about.
but it was a great movie, and I'm thinking it's pretty far out there. Shit.
It's right here
It's,
now.
oh, it's like in spades and like color. It's like, oh yeah, they can do all that stuff.
I just think that they need to. I think a police officer shouldn't have a login to it. I believe that the police officer should have to get permission in the way he would almost a warrant.
1,000%.
And I think then
that's how it was
solved.
sold
We're
to us.
happy.
The way it was sold to me was have that information in the database. If and only if a crime was committed where the police needed some leads, they could go back to the time, pull up the thing, read the report, see if they've got a car that matches the description or the time frame or the geographical location, and then use that as a tool, as a lead.
Well, we've seen it. It just happened in Lorraine. The kid just got it. I mean, the kid just got, and it has great uses.
That's where it should stop right there.
But
So
but they shouldn't have access. They shouldn't.
On a
Did you
regular basis?
listen
No.
to my podcast that I had about Flock?
No, I didn't.
My wife was at school picking up my son,
Hmm.
and a Lorraine County Sheriff calls her up. He goes, "Are you waiting in line at Midview?" She's like, "Yeah." What? She thinks our kid's in trouble. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And he said that there was some kind of domestic violence, and somebody had a white Jeep or something. She has a white Jeep, but you know what I mean? So, and she's like, well, no, it's not me. But then the guy comes up and he's talking to her. She's like, how did you get my number? And he's like, oh, I got my Waze. And he's flirting with her. He doesn't talk about anything, doesn't ask her if he sees nothing.
Oh my God.
He's asking her or telling her, I went to this, I did that. He never mentions anything about this thing.
Domestic violence.
Nothing.
Oh, man,
Nothing's mentioned about it after that phone call where he said that had happened.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So then that's why we knew about it. That was a couple years ago.
That's a problem.
But this summer, my sister just was up visiting, and she said, oh, we don't have those. I go, what do you mean you don't have? And she goes, oh, we don't have flock cameras. I'm like, I think they're everywhere. And then we went and looked on that deflocked page all over her neighborhood. She has no clue. People just don't know.
No.
They just don't know. That's why and now that people are finding out, they're going, wait a minute,
It's suddenly it's become a thing, but they've been around for a long time.
No, I get it. They're great. It's like the circles. I hate those circles that you have to, all the roundabouts, I guess they're called.
Yeah, roundabouts.
And I'm like, how can these things be worth anything? This is ridiculous. But it was Jim McCann actually who told me, he goes, there's accidents, but they're very light, like fender benders.
As opposed to
and it's like, all
someone
right,
running
fair
through
enough.
an intersection.
Yeah, and they T-bone you, and yeah.
I like them personally because for that reason is that I feel less at risk because I'm slowed down if somebody does, go into it improperly. I was on the one on 83 This a couple of years ago. A guy was on a motorcycle in front of me, and I ride. I don't know if you ride or not, but
I just sold my bike.
okay. I used to have sport bikes, but he was on a sport bike, and he was in front of me, and he's going about, I don't know, whatever speed limit was, 35, 40 miles an hour. This guy's not slowing up as we come to that first roundabout, and this guy, he clearly enjoyed doing it. He leaned in to the right and then immediately leaned back into it and then back to the right. And it was like, oh, that dude just went through that thing at about 35 miles an hour. I was like, ooh, that was gutsy.
That's dangerous.
That was very
That's
dangerous at that speed. I was like, wow. So I got a kick out of it, but I like him because it does slow down most people, but it didn't slow down that guy. That guy just went, like, ooh.
They just, well, I get aggravated. Like I go to certain ones. There's certain ones that have really irritated me. When you go to Sandusky, there's the one where you get off and you're in a roundabout. Then you got to go through another roundabout to go to the roundabout.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
That's crazy.
That's
like
crazy.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah,
there's no reason for it.
There's one on the east side of Cleveland, way on the east side of Cleveland. It's a double roundabout, and it's like I could see where a older driver would be like completely freaked out by the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like you're on a merry-go-round, you can't get off the damn thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then they did one they have one at, what is that, 303 and 57, I think. They have one that's like not quite as bad, but there is one there.
Yeah, they're interesting. I would say I'm in favor of them, but they're going to have to be regulated clearly.
Who can we run on the right that you'd vote for?
Can't think of anybody right now.
That's a shocker.
There's probably somebody. I can tell you this: there are people on the left that I wouldn't vote for.
No, there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot right now. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. They're in real trouble
They're not in trouble in the midterms, but they're in trouble
for the
20
presidency.
Oh yeah,
yeah, for the presidency, they're in trouble. They got somebody's got to
somebody got to step up and be a leader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere.
I agree. All right, brother. Well, I got to get ready for my
Poker.
monthly poker game that I'm hosting tonight. So,
That's always fun.
and by the way, I like this black and tan with the Modelo. That's pretty good.
You never had that before?
Never had it before.
Really? That's my
good.
boss's favorite.
Yeah.
All
Sounds
right.
good, brother.
All right, we're out of here.
All right.
You're first. Joe
Right,
Rogan
right,
listens
Joe
to our podcast.
Right.
Why do the gays get to pick what they get all the good stuff? That's ridiculous. I mean, went to prison for 10 years for stealing 46 million.
Not tell me he ate a booger.
Dude, he would have showed a little bit of cleavage. Maybe should have done all right. That's where we didn't have Facebook or Grindr. We
Are there a lot of girls on Grindr?
hated each other in the nuts. People wanting to punch me in the face. How would you bite Santa Claus? Let's do it. Come on. I'm ready. I'm ready. I want to do it. I said, why? I'm not AI. I didn't do it. It'd be fine. She took an Adderall.
If you're gonna do it, read the instructions.
Mental illness is not an excuse for behavior.
We need help. I got a shot and some pills that'll take that. Madhouse Bar Talk, baby.